showtime.
Hey, Amir, how you doing?
Please subscribe to Sharonatsea channel. Thank you.
You got a new video of Maxwell in there,
I
Sharon.
did. I did.
You did. You nailed it.
It was a challenge, but I got it.
You nailed it. You got the new video. What's going on, everybody? Holy cow. It is Monday, July 15th,
It is.
2024. There's a lot going on in the world, but we're going to pretend none of that's happening and just kind of bring it in to the cruising community and pretend everything's normal and there's no crazy news going on anywhere or anything like that. How does that sound to you guys, huh? I hope it sounds good because that's how we're rolling tonight. Sharon, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You are doing great?
I am. I think I'm finally pretty much recovered from our trip. I think everything's put away and all that. I'm pretty much caught up on work, and so
How are
I'm
your
ready
emails? Do you still have a stack of emails, or did you get back to everybody already?
I think I got back to everyone for the most part.
Excellent. Nautical Nurse Nancy is in the house moderating. We love her to death. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Nancy.
Hi,
She said,
Nancy.
"Oh, it's a new Maxwell video." Yes, we saw
Yeah.
Maxwell. We saw the kids. We saw the family. We have covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. You don't know how many times he went down that slide to do that video. We had, I don't know, probably like 10 takes to get to get it.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all. Well, listen, we're excited to be here. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm not sure where to start besides just starting at the beginning, I guess. I mean, Jamie Wilhite said, Sharon has done a great job. Great job,
Oh,
Sharon.
thank you,
What'd you do a
Jamie.
great job at? She's just in general, she's just doing a great job. I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Kim Brubaker said, you know what's happening. SASC talking vacations and cruising. You're absolutely right. And oh my God, hold on. All of a sudden I got a frog. Me. Excuse me.
Jamie's
Hold on.
getting over the cruise crud.
I did have a little
Came
post
home, came home a little sick, but luckily I came home fine. I didn't get sick.
You came home fine. I came home a little sick, but you nursed me back to health, which is a great method. What you did was you said, you keep your butt in the bedroom and don't come out. I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
And it worked out great for all of us. Thomas Reiser, 11 days until Discovery Princess. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Maxwell might not want to do a video again. Sugar, you're right. As he gets older, it's harder to get him to do.
Yeah, he likes doing them right now. It's just a matter of telling him to start when the camera's on. You know, he's doesn't have it down on when to start doing the video. You know.
Well, he'll get it. He just needs more practice. We need to bring him out here. Just have him and us together for a couple days, and we will mold him into a character actor, and he'll do a great job. So, listen, it's great to be with you guys. It has been a while. We left home on June 14, I think it was, and we got home on July 9th, and we did a live stream, just one live stream, I think, in that time frame from the NCL Prima. And then before that, I think it was like 2 weeks since we did a live stream. So it has been a long time since we've been sitting here, and so we are definitely overdue. A few people commented that as well. So we're glad to be here. We want to talk a little bit about our adventures. If you have any questions, and this is important, about anything that we've done, the travel, the Europe, the London, the whatever, the rental of the car, the whole night, whatever it is, please just start your comment. Maybe put question in the comment so we can try to see it. And sometimes the chat moves really, really fast on our end. So if we miss it and you see us talking about something past where your question is, please feel free to put it in there again. No one's going to care if you ask the same question twice if we haven't addressed it. So that would be awesome. Let me jump into the chat a little bit here and see if there's anything right out of the gate. I see our boy Timothy Walters out there. Timothy, great to see you.
Yeah.
Great to have your great news that you had recently.
Yeah, that
couldn't be happier
awesome
for you,
news,
brother.
Timothy.
We love you, and I can't wait to talk a lot of smack with you this football. I see the lady that has my favorite last name in the world. Do you
Yeah.
see her right there?
I do see it.
What's her name?
Pam Humper-Zoomian.
Pam Humpert-Zoomian. It's been my favorite last name for about 4 or 5 years now, and I just can't get enough of it. So, Pam, good to see you and the whole family. Gina Bird's here. Gina and Matt, what is going on? Tam Carp, Karen Griswold, Stephanie Davey, Roger Johnstone, Wendy Johnstone, we saw you as well, Lindy Lewin, Mr. Z, Jamie Wilhite says, SAST, the tornado that came through Tucson did damage at my house, but I am safe. Holy cow, that is crazy.
That is crazy.
It has been sunny. Well, we had a storm last night, but it's been sunny here the whole day.
Yeah, last night we did get a lot of wind and like a dust storm. And it was really windy, probably up until like almost midnight. And then it kind of settled down, but it was really dusty. You were probably asleep when it happened.
Oh, no, I'm sure I was up studying or doing some hard work.
My phone went off
like
saying, there was when there's a dust storm coming, your phone starts beeping and everything. So anyways, but no damage here. But I'm glad you're okay, Jamie, and hope your house wasn't damaged too much.
Sharon, I see a new name in the chat. Do you recognize that name right there?
Hi, Marty.
Marty Saunders. Wow, you must be a new subscriber. Thanks for joining us today. If it's your first time here, Marty, I'm Jamie, and this is Sharon, and it's great to have you here. And that's an inside joke. I'm sorry. We'll talk more about Marty a little bit later.
Yeah.
We've got her on the agenda. Marty's on the agenda.
Yeah, we do. You better pay attention, Marty.
Mary Barkley, great to see you. Dust storm. If that happened here, it's the end of time, said Tess Almond. Well, other parts of the country have a lot of crazy weather, but here sometimes we have to clean our pools out when the dust comes through. So that's very tragic for us to deal with. John and Diamond are here. What's going on? So I'm seeing some names of folks that we just cruised with and spent 11 awesome days with. So that was awesome. So Sharon, where do you want to begin? Hold on. Here's a question right here. Kevin Brubaker has a question. Did Sharon ever get to ground you during the trip, or did you just blame Larry? Great question, Kevin Brubaker. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most behaved you've ever known me to be, where would you rank me from this particular trip? Go ahead. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
What?
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most behaved I've ever been on a cruise, where would you rank me? Lucy. Calm down, girl.
Lucy says hi.
Lucy said a 10. As a matter of fact, that's what she said. Hang on. I feel like I'm looking really... Are you guys seeing me as really, really red? Let me know if you're seeing me as really red. I'm going to try to white it up a little bit. Lucy's got a problem. I'm going to have to go deal with this. Hold on. Lucy, fine. Calm down. Will you get over here? What's the matter with you? Okay.
Okay. I will say you were probably about an 8 or 9. Well, I mean, there was a couple nights we stayed up a little bit late, but for the most part, I mean, this cruise was port intensive, so you really couldn't stay up that late or actually drink that much and wake up and have a decent day the next day. I mean, we had a port every day. We had 2 sea days, and every other day was a port, and it was a long day each day. So we were exhausted, and it was weird though, because it was hard to sleep some nights on this cruise. I even stayed up late just because I couldn't sleep.
You're so right about that. Why was it so hard?
It was light outside pretty much all night long on half of the cruise. So it was crazy.
I mean, the sun would go down at like 11:30 at night, and it would just kind of barely dip down and get a little bit dark, and then and then at like 2 o'clock the sun would come up
Sunrise.
Again. And that would be it. It was crazy.
And I know there's the blackout shades and everything, and we had them closed, but it was just a weird thing because we would come in our room at night, and it would maybe be like, say, 11 o'clock, and our blinds were open, so we'd see that it was light outside. Then we would close them before we would get into bed, but it was just kind of a weird mental thing, knowing that it's still light outside, and it was just kind of hard to fall asleep. Once I got to sleep, I slept, but it was just kind of a weird thing.
It was very odd. Now, we could black out the room to the best of our ability, but you still knew it was light out, and if you took a little look outside, like you could wake up at like 2 a.m. and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on outside. You're like you're just blinded. The whole room would light up. It was crazy. Richard Vanden Aaron, what's going on? Hope you and Lori are doing good. Jamie and Sharon, good to see you guys. Had a good, safe trip. Will there be another group cruise like this last one on the Prima? Excellent question, and Sharon's got the answer for you, sir.
There will be one similar. It won't be on the Prima. Well, at least I don't think it's going to be on the Prima.
I don't think so.
But we are planning another Europe group cruise for summer of 2026. But the itineraries aren't out yet, so I can't really plan it. But as soon as they come out, I will be planning it and we'll announce it. I know there's only one cruise line that has itineraries out for 2026 Europe, and that's Princess. I did see a couple that look pretty nice, but I don't want to make a decision until I've been able to see like all of the cruise lines and what they're offering.
I think that's a good call. I see a lot of people talking about Lucy here. Karen Griswold said Lucy barks 10 times. That's very unlike Lucy. And by the way, Lucy was amazingly well behaved the entire 3-day ride there and the 3-day ride home.
She was. She loved
fabulous.
it. She loved. Well, I think she loved it because she knew she was getting in the car with us and she was going with us. If we go somewhere and she sees our luggage packed and our luggage leave the house and she's
we're
not
leaving her
going
behind,
with
we're
us,
in big trouble.
then she gets really upset.
We are in big trouble. All right, I don't know. Nancy said I look a little rosy. Someone else said I look fine. I think I look a little less red here, but I don't really know. It's hard to tell what we truly look like between looking at our phone and looking at our computer and all that. So,
well, we could probably use a little color. We're a little pale. This cruise was not really a get any sun kind of cruise. Although we did have good weather, and when you were in the sun, it was kind of warm the first 3 days. So
that's right. John V said, "Did Jimmy come out on the trip?" No, I don't think Jimmy was out. No, not really. There were, no. There was no Jimmy. It was all just, the focus was so much, like Sharon said, it was so port intensive. And to be quite honest with you, after 3 days of driving to Minnesota, we were exhausted, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. And then we get over to London, and I saw the question about jet lag and getting over to London. We flew. We did an overnight flight. Our flight left at 11 p.m. We left JFK Airport.
But we had gotten up early. Well, kind of early. We had a flight. I think about 10 or so from Minnesota to New York.
10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. flight to get to New York.
At one airport. Then we had to drive to another airport. Well, we didn't drive, but we had some great friends that picked us up and gave us a ride.
Yes.
Over to...
and they would be here right now, but I think they're on the Utopia of the Seas right now, checking out that brand new ship. So, Brian and Julie, if you watch this later, thanks for the ride. We really, really appreciate it. It was great to see you guys and hang out a little bit.
It was. But then we went over to JFK, and that's where we flew. We flew out of JFK over to Southampton, and we had an overnight flight. So we got there. Our flight got in at like 11 something. By the time we got to our hotel, ended up getting checked in. We made a decision to stay up, sightsee as much as we could that day, and then just kind of turn in a little bit early that night, or not too late, because we had a big day the next day. And versus going there, laying down, taking a nap, and then trying to get up and do something later that day. We thought that would be better for our jet lag, and I think it did.
I think that was a big deal.
That's a mistake we made last year. We got there, we were so tired that we just took a nap. And then by the time we woke up, we were all groggy, and we ended up hardly doing anything that night, and it was just a mess. So I think that's
our first tip. If you do fly and you do an overnight flight, when you're changing, all those time zones and everything like that, it was a 5-hour difference from the East Coast. So it was 8-hour difference for us, from Arizona. But like I said, we had already gone to Minnesota, so that cut that down, by 2 hours. Then there was another hour getting over there to New York. But, we changed a lot of time zones in a 24-hour period or so. And getting there, powering through is the best way to go.
Yeah.
That way you go to bed that night exhausted, you get a normal night's sleep practically, and then you're up. And we were up early the next day.
We had a tour.
Boom,
we had a tour that started
gate
at 7 a.m. So we were up at like 5 or so that morning to get ready, and then we had to take the
tube
to catch our excursion that day.
Yeah, so that was very exciting.
But
too.
the best thing is try to sleep as much as you can on the plane. That's another mistake. We didn't sleep last year very much because we were just kind of excited about the whole thing. So this time we got on there. I decided I think I ate. They brought food around. I don't think I ate this time. I ate before I got on the plane. I'm just like, I just need to sleep this time. I want to sleep. So I didn't watch any movies or anything. I just sleep.
So that's good. I didn't sleep too much on the ride there, but that was okay. And then later we'll talk about the flight home, which is one of Sharon's favorite parts of the whole trip. But we can't get into that right now. Amy Landon said 10-hour excursions in Iceland and Norway. You are so right.
Yeah.
We were out early and going all night long. So it was wild and crazy, and we just powered through.
Yeah.
Julie Amos is here. What's up, Julie?
Hi, Julie. I think one of the things that made us able to even stay up a little later, because we were exhausted when we got back from the tours, was that we saw that it was still light outside, and that kind of almost gave you this weird boost of energy, knowing that it's still light outside. You can't go to bed yet, so we just kind of...
It's got to keep on going. Keep on keeping on. Big G and Snuggles are here. What's up, guys? They asked a question, Sharon. land or sea vacation, and no sitting on the fence. Which one do you like better? Sea vacation.
For what? And just in general?
Yeah, that's it.
I need to-
Don't read the question. You just got to trust me. That's what they said.
Well, if it's just in general, any vacation, I'll say probably I like the cruises because you can go to multiple places and you get to see a lot of things.
Yes.
Although,
And you get all your food right there within
Yeah.
a few steps, and your cocktails and the whole
So I
9
think-
yards, and
yeah.
the casino.
yeah, so I personally like them better, although there are certain vacations that I would probably recommend doing a land versus a sea. And we were even considering doing a little bit of a land to Europe next summer, but we'll see if we end up planning that. Just because there's just a couple places that we want to go that are kind of close together.
Lori, I think we answered your question already. Here, she had the question: do you think you might add in more group cruises? So yeah, I think so. Like Sharon said, we're looking at 2026. We're definitely doing 2026.
Yeah, that's the only.
It was a great time, and we can't wait to do
Yeah.
it again. And hopefully, everybody who went with us this time wants to go again, and a bunch more people, and we'll just have a dang
And
blast.
we do have a few group cruises already planned, but that's the only one that we have, I guess, that we're going to be planning in the future that I know of right now over the next couple of years is that summer of 2026.
Richard says that was a crazy long day in London. How many steps did you do? We don't listen.
I did
Everybody
not-
we're with,
yeah.
everyone we're with is tracking their steps.
So-
I kept
so
hearing,
we're
we did
like-
12,000, we did 17,000, we did 22,000. I don't track it. We don't track any steps. We just go until we fall down, and usually I
Yeah.
fall down way before Sharon and Matthew falls down.
But I know a lot of people track the steps. So some of the excursions we did with other people, I just kind of, whatever they said, I'm like, okay, we probably did about the same.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have no idea in London, but if I had to guess based on
Couple
past
miles.
experiences, because we did track our steps last summer a little bit, I would say at least 18,000
Is that your estimate?
for
Your best
steps
guess?
for London the second day.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm going to say
That was a long
35,
day.
40,000.
35, 40,000.
Well, you're making up numbers. I might as well make one up
Well,
too.
I'm basing them on real steps from a previous.
Ronnie said, I'm doing the same cruise, but in reverse next summer. That'll be fantastic. You'll
that
love
will
it. Tess Almont said, 2026 is my goal for Europe. Maybe that'll work out. Julie Amos says she's in for 2026.
Oh, good.
You better be, Julie. Beauty and the Bum Travels. Larry Bum, who was with us, Larry Melissa, he says he was a solid 9.5 on behavior. Please. Who are you kidding? Was it warm enough to lay out by the pool, said Sugar.
It
Technically,
couple ports,
yes, in a few places.
Yeah, a couple ports you could have laid by the pool, although there was just no time for that if you wanted to see any sights, but you could have.
Yeah, because the 2 days that we did have as sea days, we just slept in. We were just exhausted. I mean, after the drive to Minnesota, after traveling to London, after going the day we got there in London, the next day going for 12, 14 hours that day. Then the next day, we got a little bit of sleep, but then we had to go all the way down to Southampton. And then we met up with our friends in Southampton from the group, a couple of them that were there. And then we walked a little bit of the Titanic Trail until we got sidetracked by a group of pubs. Next, you know, we were eating, drinking,
But there was
being
some
merry,
good
and having a
food
good
down
time.
there. Yeah.
There was good food, good
I
food,
like-
good drinks, good music. It was amazing.
Yeah. Amy Landon's comment: bucket list cruise part 2.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
That's a perfect
Sounds
name
like
for
Amy's
it.
in for it. I'm glad to hear that. Amy and Philip, they can bring the little one. They had their friends there. I think Nick and Karen. Am I saying it right? Am I getting it right? Maybe I'm getting it right. You can let me know. But so yes, that was fabulous. We had a great time with those guys. Jamie, you look rosy and fine. Thank you, Tess. I appreciate that.
Oh, Kevin wants to go on Princess, he says. Kevin Perfect.
Maybe we could do that. Shayna Reed has a comment for you right there, Sharon.
Your shirt is your shirt's well, thank you.
Yes.
Actually, it's a new shirt. I took it
That
on,
is a new shirt.
I took it on this cruise. Oh no, actually I didn't take it on this cruise. You want to know something funny? This is funny. You'll love this. I actually
I'm going to love it. Okay, I can't.
I actually bought this shirt while I was on the cruise, and when I got home, it was here. I did a purchase on my phone, you know, because it was a good sale.
Of course you did, Sharon.
Yeah,
Of course you did.
it was
That makes sense.
on Lascana, and it was like on clearance for like $12. I couldn't resist though.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you and that you got your
It is
your,
because
your
the
shirt there.
price is still on there, and it's a lot more now.
Well, that's a good move. Great job, Sharon. Sharon's literally shopping on the cruise to send stuff home. Is that right or wrong? I mean, who even does that? That's insane.
Well, that's what I did when I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep at night because it's so light outside, So you start playing around on your phone, and that's what happens.
Jim Hurt says our dog also knows when we're leaving with our bags packed. Smart little dude. I know, it's crazy, right? Yes, the weather in London was amazing. The weather the whole time was really amazing.
Yeah.
We were blown away, and everywhere we went,
everyone's like, this
people were
doesn't
commenting
happen.
on it.
Yeah, when we were in like Amsterdam and where else were we? The one other port.
got her in Norway. The weather was the one day in Bergen, Norway. It was a little windy and rainy.
Bergen was the weather was not good.
London, Southampton was amazing. Embarkation day, there was a few minutes of some rain as we were leaving as we were sailing away on Embarkation Day, if I recall. But it was really mostly sunny the whole day.
Yeah, there was only a couple of days where it was really
in
bad.
Belgium, it was amazing. In Amsterdam, it was amazing.
We had a couple sprinkles one day towards the end of the cruise, and Bergen, Norway was. That was probably the worst weather for me because that's the day that Matthew and I got off the ship to explore. You ended up staying on the ship that day.
I didn't stay on the ship. I got off the ship.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we had last minute. In the last minute, our tour got canceled.
Yeah.
And we spent like 30 minutes figuring all that stuff out.
But we got off the ship.
And then we got back on the ship because it was raining and windy to regroup. Yeah. And then you guys went back out.
We went out, and you decided to stay. Yeah.
And did a little work.
And so Matthew and I went out for the day.
Sharon put me to work on the cruise.
Yeah. So you worked, and Matthew and I went out for the day, and it rained on us. It wasn't raining when we first got off, but then it poured at times. But but it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
I see Brian and Julie from Howie Cruise checking in. Guys, enjoy your little time there. Hope you're enjoying Utopia of the Seas, and that it's much better than all the other of the seas ships over there with Royal. So have a great time, guys.
It's nice.
Did Lucy get any treats for being so awesome? How many pints did Jimmy have in London? Jimmy didn't have nearly as many pints as he would have liked to, but when we were in Southampton, we had a great time and had a couple of pints. We went to a bar called The Grapes, which is a bar that's very heavily affiliated with the Titanic. It's a place where there's the story goes that there were a number of crew members that were at the bar there, The Grapes. And I think back then it was also a hotel that people stayed at. And the crew got so drunk at the Grapes bar that a number of them didn't make it onto the ship for work. And they missed getting on the Titanic, which was a blessing because then they didn't go down with the Titanic. So that was a cool little story. Yeah. And then when we were there, we also had a great dinner at a place. And
it was pretty close.
Yeah, the Carnicera Steakhouse. It was right in this little area.
Was really good there.
That was fabulous. And then after that, we took a walk and we went by a bar called the Titanic Bar, which turned out to be super cool. A band was there. We actually met the owner and talked to the owner, which I didn't believe him. I thought it was just a local guy talking
you wouldn't
smack.
Think that was the owner.
And then the next morning, I looked it up online, and sure enough, there's a picture of the guy, and it was really him. So I was like, oh, dang. I should have schmoozed with him more. So that was super cool. Crazy Cat Traveler, she said she'll be there for 2026. And with jet lag, switch your watch to local time as soon as you get on the plane. It'll trick your mind. Also, more water, less alcohol, and caffeine. Whoa. Okay, Crazy Cat Traveler. Now you're just talking crazy, which makes sense.
What was that? Go back up.
What? We're getting a little bit behind here in the thing.
I'll go back up a little more.
You're getting a little behind here. You can't go backwards. You got to go forward. Where are you?
Oh, Jim Hurt said, I thought you were here in Arizona. We moved to Gilbert 4 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we are in Arizona.
Yeah, we're here. We're in Goodyear, just on the other side of town. Let's see. The combo trip is fine. The starting port is key. You're right about that.
Yeah.
That for sure. Jamie will say, John and Diamond, your videos are great. That's right, John and Diamond were there. Make sure you check out their YouTube channel, guys. After this, go over there, give them a subscribe, tell them Sharonatsea Travel sent you, and they're a fun couple making some great little videos. So go check them out as well.
Julie, I will definitely let you know when we have 2026 put together.
Billy said, question, did you lose any luggage this trip? No luggage was lost.
But we gained a luggage.
Oh my God.
we
Do you really want to open that can of worms right now, Sharon?
it just kind
You
of
really
was
want
fitting.
to? Wow, boy, that's a good one.
It was fitting.
We did gain a lot of luggage. As a matter of
No,
fact,
we didn't gain a lot. We gained one piece of
no,
luggage.
we gained a lot of luggage.
No, one piece.
When we went there, Sharon. First off, Sharon did an amazing job packing. But on the way there, we each well, all right. Sharon set us up in a very organized fashion.
Yeah,
She had a bag for us for all of our stuff we needed for the ride to Minnesota.
Right.
Then we had a bag
we
for
had
a few days in Minnesota.
Well, we had some things. No, that was all in one bag.
You should put a master class together
No,
just for.
We had a bag for our road trip in Minnesota,
before,
things that we weren't taking on the cruise. So we just had a small bag there, and we left it in Minnesota so that when we came back, we just used that as our road trip home too. But then I had in our carry-on bag, I had our things for London, so that we didn't have to get into our big suitcases that we're taking on the cruise. And then everything for the cruise was packed in our big suitcases. So we each had one big suitcase, and then we had two small carry-ons that we had all three of our things packed in for London, and just like a few other things. Like actually, I think your tripod was in there and some other things. But coming home, one thing that I usually allow for our souvenirs. This time I didn't really allow enough room for those. I thought that I would be able to squish all of the dirty laundry down in those airtight bags and make enough room for souvenirs. But I may have just bought a few too many souvenirs between Matthew and I.
You filled up. You literally emptied out. You took two normal carry-ons, full-size normal carry-on bags, and you filled them to the rim with souvenirs.
I did.
You said, "Here's all the souvenirs I got."
One
and you
was
filled one up, and the other one you
was
put all
Matthew's.
Matthew's
Yeah.
souvenirs in it.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there going, how the heck, how are we going to get all of our stuff home? You just took two entire carry-on bags out of the equation to get home.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, well, I didn't buy that many. I bought a
You
Christmas
sound like Ozzy Osbourne right now.
and a shot glass for each of the ports for myself, and then I had to buy things for the grandkids. So I had one. Matthew collects things wherever he goes, but he had that one. So I ended up buying one of those bags that's like smaller, but then it expands up like this tall or so in the gift shop, like it was a Norwegian bag. And I put a bunch of dirty laundry in that to and then we ended up checking that bag to come home. Unfortunately, we had to pay like $80 to check it, but hey, that's a whole nother story.
Unbelievable. And that was the loudest. The wheels on that were horrible. You could hear us a mile away coming as we walked across the parking lot getting off the ship.
I could have just probably brought another carry-on or something and planned ahead of time. But I just wanted to take as least amount there because I know we were going to have to carry all that luggage, and we were going to take the tube or the to our hotel, and there was a bunch of steps we had to go up or down with all of our luggage, and I just didn't want to deal with that on the way when we were going. So, but anyways, hey, it is what it is. But
it worked out.
Everything made it home safely, and all good.
Carla McClendon says, I moved while you guys were gone.
Oh,
Carla, where'd you move to? Are you in Arizona now? Can we hang out or what? Or are you still in Florida? Or did you move into the Carnival headquarters? Because you're the CEO anyway, so why wouldn't you live there? Let's see. James, is that you on your shirt? When you're older, beware shots. No, this is my one souvenir.
That's Jamie's
from the whole trip. Hold on, I don't know if they can see my.
I actually bought that for him the day that I got off the ship without him.
This is my souvenir. No beer, no way. Now it's a funny thing. Larry, Beauty and the Bum Travels, had bought the same shirt and he was showing it around. And I already knew that I had mine, but I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to take the wind out of the sails, so I was just like, "Cool shirt, dude." But I got one too, Larry. You
guys can match next time.
Oh my gosh! And speaking of, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the best cruise I've ever taken and the best 2 weeks of my life.
Larry.
Ready to return. Yeah. Wow, that is very, very nice.
I know.
Larry. Thank you, buddy.
Every time last summer I went to Europe, I couldn't wait to get back, and now this time it's like I can't wait to get back. It's just I don't know.
Great question. Heidi says, what was Iceland like? Any issues with sailing into and around Iceland?
No,
Zero issues if you're talking about like the volcano and all that stuff. It was a non-factor whatsoever.
Iceland was beautiful.
One of our tours was the Trollstigen road that we were supposed to go down, and one of the it's a very long all-day excursion, and we saw tons of stuff. And this was in
Oh, that was in Norway.
was it in Norway?
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. But I'll still tell you that in Norway we had an issue where a road there was some kind of something fell and blocked the road, so we couldn't take that part of the road. That wasn't Norway, wasn't? I'm confused. We just covered a lot of ground for crying out loud.
I saw Amy.
Iceland was very, very awesome.
Second hottest day was
In Geiranger.
yes. Norway. Yes.
Oh, yeah. They were saying it was crazy.
And that was probably the only, I guess, excursion that it wasn't. It's not that this excursion was bad, but it was just a bad experience because they're probably not used to the heat there, so maybe that's why the bus didn't have air conditioning. Supposedly it did, but it was. I think
it was
broke.
weak. The air conditioning was very underwhelming.
And the windows didn't go down, and it was hot. So we were on the tour bus, and it was just stuffy and hot, and it was kind of miserable. I mean, but it was beautiful there. So, but yeah, that was a little disappointing.
Stephanie Davies, a question: any Norwegian aqua updates, Sharon? Just that we're doing the group cruise, not this New Year's, but the next one.
Yeah.
So that's really all we got for that, I think, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be similar. I know they're making a couple changes from the Prima and Viva, but basically it's the same layout and everything.
I saw a few comments about Alaska. A lot of this trip, Sharon and I looked at each other and we said, "This kind of reminds me of what we were in so many." No, but I mean, like in Norway, we kept going into fjords.
Yeah,
we spent a lot of time in fjords, but in this case, we would drive in and it'd be a short fjord, but we would go in and we would go all the way to the back of the fjord where it would just end. And then we would dock there or something like that, and that was a very cool experience. And I got some trolls. I saw a comment about. I can't remember.
I got some trolls.
I got some trolls. I got a troll right here. I got some pictures that we're going to show you here in a few. So hang in there.
Will Child says, "Who is your point person?" And I think he means Roatan.
Oh, well, that would be.
That is Johan at Real Deal Roatan Tour.
That's right. And Sharon mentioned the excursion. So. The excursion, we booked the excursions for this cruise, all but one of them that we did in London a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a while ago. A couple things we did on our own, but most of them we booked many months ago.
Yeah.
So
the first...
that was with who?
Well, the first two we booked, the first two ports we booked through Viator.
We did those with Viator, and those worked out good.
Yeah, and all of the other ports we did group excursion. booked them for the group. And those were through Venture Ashore.
Mm-hmm. And Venture Ashore was a company that we ended up using last year in Europe with someone else.
Which we had amazing.
And they worked out great.
Amazing.
Yes.
This year, I can't say, they were okay for the most part, but they weren't as good as last year.
Yeah.
And they were the one with where we had the hot bus issue. Although it wasn't really, I wouldn't say it's necessarily their fault. It was the company that they contract out to.
So we had the hot bus issue, and then of course in Bergen we had the cancel. Turned out that there was a tour that we booked where it was just us going on it by ourselves, and coincidentally enough, there was a last minute family emergency for the person driving, and so we just said, you know what, don't worry about that. They had our money refunded literally by the end of the day.
Yeah,
and so that was kind of cool.
And I didn't really care so much. We booked that tour just to see a little bit of the city. And the weather wasn't good that day. And so actually we ended up doing something really fun. Matthew and I got off and we went over to some forts and did some things. And we kind of had a good time just doing stuff on our own.
That was cool. But now going forward, well, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes too. We're going to get into some stuff that we have, some pictures, some videos, some stuff like that here shortly. But going forward, there's a company that we're working with almost exclusively, besides a handful of the individuals that we have great relationships with, but there's a company, Shore Excursions Group, that we're going to be booking tours with going forward. That we're kind of teamed up with
London tours with them.
Yes, and we're going to share that information with you here too. So stick around if you're going to be looking for an excursion to book outside of the cruise line that has an amazing back to ship guarantee. That's going to be for you, and we're going to hit you with that here shortly too. We just want to try to cover as much questions and stuff first as we can. It was a troll that blocked the road, wasn't it? Kim Brubaker, it may have been a troll that blocked the road. That I'm not sure of. Let's see. What else do we have? Let me jump ahead in the questions. I don't want to miss any questions anybody has. Oops, hold on. My page is getting a little wonky here. Oopsie. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, I'm back, Sharon.
Back.
I'm back. We're back. Everything's normal. Pretend that never happened. Timothy Wall. Oh yeah, there is a troll on my shirt. I don't know if it's a troll. I think it's more like a. I guess it is a troll. I don't know. It's kind of a Viking. That kind of a guy.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned is that the term Viking is actually misused. Many people refer to Viking as that those people are Vikings. But really, the term Viking is more of a verb. And what Viking really means is when groups of people would go into a town and ruin it, destroy it, mess it up, take the women, drink all the drink, eat all the food, and make a mess of the place. What they were doing was they called that you're going into the town and you're Viking. You're they don't say Vikining, but to Viking is to go into a town and mess it up. And so the people that were Nords or something like that, they call them Viking, but sometimes it's really misused. At least that's what one of our tour guides said, and I found that very interesting. Yeah. I've never learned as much as we learned on this trip from a lot of these tour guides. They were just fabulous. It was unbelievable.
Heidi Leskin said, love shore excursions group, use them in Alaska. And and the reposition through the Panama Canal, they're great. Yeah, they've been great so far with us. And
Kathy Curry's got a question. If you book a Princess Cruise with 3 people in the room, adults, and you want the plus package for all 3 on the 3 for 4 free promo, how does that work? Promo says plus is for guests 1 and 2 only.
Okay, yeah. So that's it. Most cruise lines that offer these things, even Norwegian that offers like their free at sea program, the perks are always for just guests 1 and 2. They don't apply to guests 3 and 4. Although the you just moved the thing that I was looking at something. The drink package is they usually always make everyone get the drink package. So that's something that usually applies, but all the other little perks, the Wi-Fi and things or gratuities and all whatever else is offered, those don't apply. You just
okay. But I know, but you're just answering the question.
Yeah. So that's basically how that works. There was another question.
I'm sorry.
You really threw me off because you're playing with buttons again.
My bad. Oh my God! Look at that. The ship show. Are you guys in your cabin? No, John, we're not in our cabin. We're actually at home now. Thank you for the super chat, Johnny. We're not in the cabin. We're sitting at home here, enjoying the evening.
So go back
what's
to where
the other question?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know where it was. For crying out loud.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Kevin Rubricker said, I think Foreigner sang about that. Hot buses, check it and see. The bus inside is 103. I'm not sure if that's how the song goes, but I appreciate that. Definitely a Viking.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so
go
we
down
were there.
A little more.
All right. Did you see the question from Lindy Lou? Can anyone recommend a hotel in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
Embassy Suites on 7th Street.
I don't know if I would recommend that anymore.
Please, you had one bump in the road.
Okay.
One bump in the road.
Bed bugs is not a bump in the road.
There were 2 little bugs. We couldn't find any more, and I can't guarantee those were actually bed bugs. But there was a bug in the bed.
One bug in a bed is too much for me. So I don't know. We're going to be staying in Fort Lauderdale this fall, and I booked Homewood Suites in Fort Lauderdale. But I know there's also like a Holiday Inn right in that area, not too far from the cruise port and things as well. So I'd recommend maybe one of those.
Let's see. Yeah, Kim said that it only applies to the first 2 is how we tell the kids and that they can't go with us. Sorry. That's one way to look at it.
Well, yeah.
That is one way to look at it. All right.
Well, like for instance, on our cruise we just had this one. So we had the free at sea perk. So the extra things besides the drink package that we had 4 nights of specialty dining, and they get the Wi-Fi and shore excursion credit. Well, the dining is only for guests 1 and 2. So basically that covered ours. And then you can either buy an extra dining package for the guest 3, or in our case, it benefited us more just to pay for Matthew a la carte, because he doesn't eat a full 4-course meal usually.
So. He doesn't eat as much as me. Can you believe that? Yeah. Shocking. Shocking. Although that was a bummer because usually if Matthew's food is included, I get to eat some of the appetizers that he would usually order.
Double appetizers.
But every time I was like, Matthew, can you order an appetizer? And Sharon would say, no, there's no more appetizers for you. She would yell at me, slap my hand down or something like that. All right, so listen, here's a couple things real quickly that we want to go over with you guys. How about some pictures? Do you want to see some pictures? Let me know in the chat if you want to see a couple of pictures from the adventure. I set a couple aside. Horace Armstrong said, question, wife and I are going to be on MSC Seashore in December. How well did you like it? We haven't been on MSC. We have not gone on any MSC yet. We've heard all the rumors. It's good. It's the worst thing ever and everything in between. And I'm not against trying it out myself and giving it a test ride. Depends who you're going to listen to.
I mean, one of these days we will check out MSC. It's just a matter of we haven't had the right timing. I have heard mixed reviews on the seashore. I've heard good reviews on some other ships, bad reviews on some ships, but I've heard kind of mixed ones on the seashore.
Listen, at the end of the day, I've heard people say, "Oh, the food is horrible. The food is crap. Whatever."
I think it depends too, like what you're used to with.
I've
food.
never left a cruise hungry, no matter what cruise ship, cruise line, or whatever the case is. And cruising is really what you make of it. If you go in there positive, and if you run into a bump, just go around it. Figure it out, don't let it upset you. Just say, hey, this is what happens sometimes when you put 4,000, 6,000 people in, one cruise ship, and not everything's perfect. So it is what it is. Do the best you can.
Thank you, Mary Barkley.
Mary, we need to start planning the Arizona get-together. So I'm going to reach out to you this week and get some good ideas from you.
Yeah.
I need to put you in charge of everything because last time I was in charge of it and it was a hot mess.
Oh my gosh!
I had the wrong day. I picked the basketball game day. It was just a mess.
We just need to cool down just a little bit here.
Oh my gosh, how funny! You know what? I'm sorry.
Beth.
I read this wrong. Beth Ollinger said, "Has anyone stayed at the Hilton Gabriel in downtown Miami?" And I thought when you said Gabriel, I've been looking at a hotel for California. And there was a hotel in San Gabriel, and I thought that's what you were asking about at first. So.
Hotel Gabriel.
I jumped ahead.
No, we've stayed at the Hilton downtown Miami.
Yes.
Like, it didn't say. Wasn't
Unless the Gabriel's a misspelling, I'm not sure, but but we enjoyed the Hilton on Biscayne.
Yeah, if it's the Hilton on Biscayne and downtown, we had a great stay there.
Yes, and there's a Publix right down the road. I think it's a Publix. A grocery store you can walk to and get loaded up as well with your wine, your beers, or whatever else you need for your room.
Thinking of.
No, I'm not. No, you remember we walked there in the pouring rain from our Hilton on Biscayne, and we walked down the road to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, there was a burger place across.
That was across the street, and then the grocery store was right down the way, and I think it was a Publix. Sharon, don't make me pull out the video. Question, Sharon, is it true you don't actually get charged until after you sail for the spa treatments you buy on the cruise ship website? I don't know about that.
It depends on what cruise line.
Okay.
Now, it depends on what cruise line. Some of them you do, and some of them you don't.
All right, well, there you go. I think you really cleared that up. And for more detailed information, shoot Sharon an email at, hold on, let me show you where.
Stephanie, just email me on which cruise that
sharonatsea@gmail.com. As a matter of fact, if you need anything from Sharon, like to book a cruise, to transfer a newly booked cruise to her, you have questions, comments, or concerns, just hit her up right there. Or if you have any questions about the where to find the link for the Shore Excursions group. As a matter of fact, in the video you're watching right now, if you go to the description of it where it says more, you click that and it opens up and there's a link right there for the Shore Excursions group. It's an affiliate link where you can book your excursions through them.
It doesn't,
and I'll show you here a little bit more about that in a minute.
It doesn't cost you any more to use that link versus just going directly to their website and booking. It's the same price for you.
That is correct. All right, let's go to, let me get back into these comments here. There was something. We booked the Gabriel, and it looks pretty nice at Beth Ollinger. Very cool, very cool. How was the Hilton downtown? In Tara, the Hilton downtown was awesome. I really liked it.
Yeah, we liked it.
John, the ship show says, we walked in the rain on Biscayne, much to Sharon's disdain. John, you're a poet, and you don't even know it. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy said, email Sharon. If you're noticing, Nancy's partner in crime, Leanne Francisconi, is absent from the chat. Well, that's because she just closed on a house in Florida today.
Yeah,
so she's a little preoccupied. I think she said she's just busy moving things in. I'm pretty sure they're out tearing up the town and celebrating right now.
I would be
She's probably
celebrating.
3 martinis deep if I know her. So, does the downtown Hilton offer shuttles to the port? I
No.
don't think so,
No.
Rose.
Nope.
No, your taxi or Uber is going to be your best way to get there quickly and get dropped off. Get in and out as quick as you can. That's going to be the best way to go. And a few people saying they've been there and they loved it. On the Prima trip, what was the favorite port? Said Julie.
Gosh, that's hard because I liked each port for different reasons, and they were
Can't answer.
all so different.
I can't answer.
Yeah,
But my surprise, my
There's
sport
ones
that
that
I was most
surprised us.
surprised that I liked was the one that we just put out the video yesterday for in Belgium, where we went to Bruges and Ghent, and that was freaking fabulous.
Yeah, that really surprised me. So when I looked at, I guess, videos or pictures and things online of Bruges and Ghent, like I was expecting when we decided to do that tour, and add on the Ghent portion, because that was like an option you could add on. It wasn't, everyone didn't go to Ghent on the tour. I pictured Ghent as we were going to go up this kind of big windy road with green on the sides with a big castle up there, and then there was going to be water along it, and there was going to be little areas to eat and things. And I don't know, I saw pictures similar to that, and I don't know, that's just what I was picturing in my head. And we got there, and it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that.
That's like when you research a hotel and you're like,
Yeah.
this hotel looks amazing, and then you get there and it looks like crap.
And it was
like, wait a minute, what
nothing-
happened to the pictures? I
Yeah,
saw?
it was nothing like I was picturing.
Well, it was.
Not in a-
It was.
Yeah,
It
so
was super cool.
yeah, and it was not in a bad way. It was just not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
It was amazing.
Everything was great. I guess when we were in Norway, probably because of the hot bus, I'm gonna say, even though that was very beautiful, I felt like it took away from our day there a little bit. Like, and so I can't really say that was my favorite day.
It was a little more. Well, it doesn't help when you're in Geiranger, Norway, on the hottest day of like ever there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're expecting it to be like 55, 60. All of our research showed it should be 55, 60. And usually it's overcast, rainy, and that kind of weather. It's just normal for that part of the world. And it was bluebird skies. The sun's beating down on us in the bus. And it was pushing 80 degrees, no joke. And once we got all the way up to the top of the mountain, and you'll see some of the pictures from there, it was a little windy and breezy, so it got cooler there, but it was still hot in the bus.
Yeah.
And they're just not prepared for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess. So
So I don't.
what are you
yeah,
gonna do?
So,
What are you gonna do, Sharon?
So
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right, so listen, let's show a few pictures. Are you ready to check out some pictures? Let me see if I can put this together here. Let's open it up and see what we got here. Okay, boom. Here we go. This picture is basically, this is where it all began. Sharon took the dining room and turned it into the packing room, and she had us all organized, and she was putting everything all together. And I snapped a quick picture of her, and she looks like she was very excited about that, for sure. For sure. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Why? There we go. All right, we mentioned Marty earlier. So Marty and EJ are dear friends that we met on our our fourth cruise ever. It was Matthew's first cruise. He was barely 16, 18 months old.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
13. He was 13 months.
Yes.
And it was their first cruise.
So we met them 18 years ago on a cruise ship. We hadn't seen them in a number of years, so we stopped by their house while we drove to Minnesota in Kansas. And Sharon, there's one. If Marty's still here, I'm not sure, but
look at
there's
that,
there's one message you need to get over to EJ and let him know something.
I don't know if you see what I'm holding. That drink is a lemon drop, and I'm normally don't drink lemon drops, but that's Marty's favorite drink, and she said EJ makes the best lemon drops, so he made me a lemon drop, and that is now one of my favorite drinks. But not just any lemon drop; it's EJ's lemon drop. He makes the best.
Okay, well, listen,
lemon
we can't always
drops.
go to Olathe, Kansas
I know.
to get drinks, okay,
But
Sharon?
he makes the best lemon drops I've ever
We're
had.
trying it again.
They're the best.
Yes, that video seems so long ago. I'm glad you could reconnect with old friends. Shayna, you're right. It was so long ago. It was wild.
I did get a couple lemon drops that were pretty good on the Prima,
But
and
nothing as good
but
as
that's
this.
because I had to tell the bartender how to make them to
All
try
right.
to get them as close to the ones I had that
All
EJ
right.
made.
All
So,
right, next shot. Okay, so here we are. This is where we met up with Brian and Julie. We flew from Minnesota to Newark, and Brian was amazing, and he gave us a ride from Newark to JFK, but we had to stop in the middle, and we stopped and had lunch, and they're there with the boys. Their daughter Katie wasn't there, but the boys were there, so that we had a great time with that, and we had an awesome lunch, a couple of beverages, and they were so nice to help us out and give us a ride. So that was super cool, hanging out with them. All right, here's a shot of us. Way in the back of this picture there is actually Buckingham Palace.
That's why we were getting ready to watch Changing of the Guards.
Well, no, this
that
was after. This was at the end of the Changing of the Guards. Notice
right,
how the sides of the streets are bare. There's hardly anybody there, but an hour earlier, there was 100,000 people there. It was crazy. And what's weird, if you notice the flags right there, you'll see you got the British flags and you got the Japan flag right there, because there happened to be some kind of a thing going on where some of the higher ups from Japan were visiting, so they were honoring them with their flags there in the on the road Buckingham Drive. I don't know what it is. The mall. Apparently, it's a mall.
So our tour guide called it the mall.
Yeah, hold on. We have to address
we
this.
had some people tell us in comments it's called the Mule and
some other stuff
and the Mile. I've had two different people tell me two different things. Say it's the Mule or the Mile. But I know our tour guide called it the Mall, and some other people in London called it the Mall. So I don't know. But there.
Okay, great question. What's the secret? Marty, maybe you can answer that for Nancy, because Marty's there and said EJ does make the best lemon drops.
Yeah, they were the best. They were the best.
All right, so hold on. Let me get back to this. Now, we have put out a few videos, and it is so funny when you, okay, we're going to another country. We're from Arizona, from the U.S. We're going to Europe. We're going to the United Kingdom, and then we're moving on from there. And I swear to God, we make a video and people come in and go, FYI, it's pronounced mall, not mall. Or we stayed at the tube station, the underground railway. The tube is what they call it there. One person goes, it's a T, but we say it more with a ch, so it's more like tube. And I'm like, okay. And then the station was called Gloucester Station, GLOUCESCER. Something like that. And so I said, it's Gloucester. And someone goes, it's pronounced more like Gloucester. And I'm like, listen, man, don't come in here correcting I'm saying it the way that it's spelled, and you know that I'm not from there, so don't be busting my bells on a slightest bit of pronunciation that I'm getting wrong. We tried hard to say these things correctly the best we could,
and
for God's sake.
Some of them we even looked up or we Googled.
Yeah, mind the gap, Jimmy. You're right, Big Gene Schnoodles. We saw that. Mind the gap.
Where we Googled it, where you can listen to them say it, so you can site where you can listen to them say it, the pronunciation, and so we said it like that too. So we tried, but you know what? Hey, you can't get everything right.
Richard Van Den Air said, "Oh, now you tell us, Sharon. We just went through Kansas. See, we could have hooked you guys up with the Saunders family." Bringing people together, that's what we do. John B. said, Norway's beautiful in the summer, but I worked in Oslo for 3 months during the winter. It was only light from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., freezing and snowy every day. Oh, God.
Yeah, in the winter, it's I heard it's horrible. Like Iceland, too, it's dark all day, and so, yeah, that would be rough.
All right, let's get back to a couple more pictures here and see what else we got. All right, so, hold on a second. It took me back to the beginning. That's because we bounced out of it. All right. Oh my God. Sharon here destroying a fishing ship, her first fishing ship there in London. I don't know. Our tour guide kept saying this place is amazing. It was really there was a row of 3 fishing ship places right by the Tower of London, which is kind of behind us there.
It was good, but it wasn't the best fishing ships.
It was all right.
I had better fishing ships.
Yeah, well, you liked the one that we had at that one place where the outside was practically burned.
It wasn't burned, Jamie. It was just, it was crispier.
It was great. This is the tower. This is like the White Tower, they call it, the main tower of London. So that was very cool. We learned a lot about this while we were there. So London really was just, the one? It was just fabulous.
I think that was the one that I walked in with Matthew, or maybe it was one on the side. We walked all the way up to the top. I think it reminded me of
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, walking up all those steps.
Yeah.
I mean, there were
very, very cool.
There were so many steps.
Part of the Tower of London where the crown jewels are. You can see on the right side is the line to get into the crown jewels, which we thought was a little, I don't know, it was a little bit It was just a hint underwhelming.
Well, we said it was underwhelming, and so we got kind of blasted for that.
A few people said, underwhelming.
It's not that it was underwhelming. Maybe that was the wrong word.
Just the whole thing was just a little.
It was just when you go in, you can't take pictures or video. And I know that they don't want people to, why they don't want people to take it, but it'd be nice to just at least be able to snap a picture, even if it's just for your own memories, you know, because you go in there and you're quickly looking at these things and you're just kind of walking.
Yeah, you waited online for an hour. You get in there and like you're whisked past it.
And then there's just
like, can I get a picture so I can look at it later and look at the detail or something like that?
And then you're just seeing all these like crowns and things.
I got yelled at 3 times for handing my camera.
Yeah, so.
All right, so here is, let's jump ahead a little bit. Now we went and I looked at this and I'm like, oh my God, London Bridge. Is that London? London Bridge is falling down. I'm like, that's London Bridge. No, that isn't London Bridge. You would think it is. That's the Tower Bridge. That's right by the Tower of London. London Bridge is down the river a little bit and it's really lame and boring and crappy and I don't even have a picture of it. So I'm just going to pretend in my head that this is London Bridge because it looks so amazing and so beautiful. And Sharon, just so you know, this water right here, Sharon, is the River Thames.
That's right.
Because I called it the Thames River, and although one person appreciated that I said the name right, Thames, but others blasted me because it's not the Thames River, it's the River Thames. Yeah. People are really, really particular about this. Here's an amazing picture. The thing I wanted to do the most. Oh, this is another example, but this is Big Ben.
Tower and,
Yes, the Elizabeth Tower and the bell is Big Ben. Another thing people said because we said, "Oh, look at Big Ben." They're like, well, just so you know, it's actually the Elizabeth Tower, and the bell is Big Ben. I'm like, really? Because every person ever calls the whole thing.
And we knew that, but it's just we refer to it as Big Ben in the videos.
Yeah, just like our guide and everybody
that's
else
what everyone refers to it as, and that way people would know what we're talking about because so many people know it as Big Ben.
Yes. So that's Big Ben and Parliament from across the river. So that was gorgeous. Oh, and here we go. This is Disembarkation Day. This is our whole little group there. We've got everyone in the mix for the photo. We were all on the aft of the ship, and before everyone split up for dinner, as we sailed away, we got a quick picture. So that was super, super cool. And we had a great time with that. That was awesome. Here's a shot at one of the places in Bruges as we walked around. I don't know what the building was. Maybe it was a hospital or something, and now it's just a museum. So that was just another example of the cool stuff. This was in later on in the day in Ghent. We saw this building, so that was super cool.
Really,
oh my God, the detail was insane. It just would blow you away. This is another shot in Ghent that we took. We just tried to take some nice little pictures here and there of the like a belfry tower. So that was very cool. All right, another shot in Ghent, and on the left side of this canal is where we had lunch at the House of Waffles, which were fabulous, so that was great. You're walking down the road, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a huge castle. Just very cool stuff. There's us in Amsterdam with a windmill behind us.
Yeah, that was really cool.
You were super excited about the windmill. You were dying to see the windmills, weren't you? Oh, there's Sharon showing what it's like to sit in the go-kart. Did you ride? No, only Matthew rode the go-karts.
We did not ride the go-karts this time. Matthew did, but we didn't. It was just too much going on.
There is our beautiful ship, and I forget which port that was. But this is a port where usually the ship would tender, but they have the extended dock. The dock that you see here, it folds up. This is a Go Ranger. Yeah. The dock would usually fold up, but the dock actually extends out into the water to meet the ship. So that was cool. Okay, here's a picture. This is Go Ranger. So this was the first stop we make. So you can see Sharon, and way down there in the fjord, you can see the cruise ship right in the middle. And then we traveled higher up to get to this elevation, where here we are, and you can look down and you can see the cruise ship in the middle. Then I think we went to this elevation, where if you look really closely, you can see down there the fjord and the little tiny cruise ship right in the middle. And it was crazy. There were these rocks where people, I think I see Philip Landon right there in that blue t-shirt venturing out there with his boy. Amy might be yelling at him saying, don't get too close to the edge. So that was super cool. And then it was like another shot of just being so far. You can see the road that you have to take to get up the hill. It's just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to climb up. but it was just so amazing, being so high, the views. It was just gorgeous. And finally, we got down the mountain. Oh, and here's a picture of a bunch of us at the bar with an awesome bartender, Kent. And that's kind of a funny story. Kent, we met on our first 2 Prima cruises and became friends with him. We've been in contact with him ever since. We were supposed to see him on the Viva, but he ended up working in the Haven area on that cruise, so we never actually got to see him, which was disappointing. And then when we got on the ship this time,
We didn't even know he was on there.
we had no idea he was on. And I saw another guy that I recognized from the Prima that I said hi to him. And he said, hey, I remember you from the Prima. And I said, yeah, you were there with Kent. And he goes, yeah, Kent's working right over there. And I said, what? Kent's. And so it was very cool to see a guy. So we almost didn't even have a drink at any other bar besides that one, the Metropolitan bar on the ship with Kent. Yeah. So that was super cool. Just seeing him was just fabulous. All right, let me jump back, make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. I got a few more pictures to show, so don't you worry about that. Let's see. Let me jump ahead a little bit here, Sharon. We're not too far behind in the chat, actually, so that's kind of nice. Great catch. That's what my London tour did. Have us on the street rather than at the gate. See all the parade, but not as crowded. Well, listen, if you watch our video,
ours was crowded.
It was crowded. We watched the guards come out from St. James Place.
We went to three different, I think, locations.
And then we watched them walk down the road. Then we walked down to the mall with them.
And then another view at the other end. Yeah,
it was unbelievable. Yeah. Tess said, "You're American. Pronounce it the way you like." Thank you, Tess. I appreciate that. Jamie, we did not go to Harrods, although I think Larry Bum and Melissa might have stopped by there.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, maybe next time. I mean, we tried to cram in as much as we could.
Kevin Brubaker, that was not from Long John Silver's. Must be crispy, no mush. Well, yes. Sharon likes super, super crispy. That's
I like the inside to be like really fluffy, but then I like the outside really.
Yes, we did. We enjoyed the chips as well, John and Diamond. Did you see the bloody tree stump? We didn't see that, but we know that was there. We saw a bunch of. It was the stories about the tower. The Tower of London and that area were so amazing. The executions, the history, we were just blown away by all that. Uber boat, what was that about? Oh, I don't know. What Uber boat are you talking about? Oh my God, Timothy Walther says Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips. I haven't heard that name in a million. I saw the Tower Bridge when I had the Olympic rings for the Paralympics, which started the day after I arrived, said Crazy Cat Travel. Very cool, very cool. We did not see Prince William and Harry or any of those guys. Who are those people correcting strangers? It happens. It happens all the time. Roger Johnstone, you're so right. I said it too many times. Big Ben, Parliament. Big Ben, Parliament. I just want to say that. Let's see. Jumping through a little bit. Julie said you put on beautiful videos and people pick on the silliest things. Your real friends and followers wouldn't do that. Yeah, probably not, but maybe behind our back, you never know. John and Diamond said the architecture was just so amazing. It really just left us in awe. It wasn't. The fact that when you think how old it is, like, and I've said it before on the last time that we traveled to Europe, is, we're here, our country is a couple hundred years old. You go there and this thousands of years old. The history is unbelievable. Just being in like Belgium and hearing about how many different countries have come in and ruled over Belgium, taken over, Russia's taken over. I mean, just, the Germans rule them, the Russians rule them, another country's ruling. It's just crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's just so different than like taking a Caribbean cruise and thing. I mean, your whole focus is different. It's all about culture and history and
Totally. Tessa, it was the House of Waffles. It wasn't actually the Waffle House. And I had an amazing waffle.
It was nothing like the Waffle
Yes.
House.
Were there bats in the belfry? No, there were not, Kevin Rubaker, but I mentioned this in the video. But I'll tell you that the guy made a joke about one of the places where the belfry was, where people had to work because there were no bathrooms in this large belfry. So he said that he had a nickname for it, which had to do with pooping, because you actually had to bring your own bucket or jar or bowl to go to the bathroom in, and then you had to take it with you when you left at the end of the day. So a funny story.
Amy said Granger.
Garangi, whatever. Say it however you want.
What is something about? Sharon said, "Oh well, tulips grow in Arizona. They can grow in Arizona, although I don't know how well they'll grow. I did read that you need to plant them in November for them to grow in the spring. So I brought home 3 bags of tulips, and I plan to plant them in November and water them well. And I'm going to baby those things. I'm going to try to get them to grow. So
no big Gene Snuggles. I did not go to the naughty street in Amsterdam. Mom.
We did not. Yeah.
Lori said that's how the crew feels when Americans are constantly correcting their pronunciation, especially at trivia. I know, right? Just let them just understand what they're saying and roll with it. Reminds me of Montenegro, says Steven Z. What's up, Steven Z? I learned how to pronounce Boli and Ghoul. Yeah, right, Larry? Yeah, they don't correct your pronunciation when you're ordering a beer, that's for sure. Did you get some Belgian chocolate, said Tess?
I did. I got plenty. And
Tess must not have watched the video yet from Belgium, I guess. Huh, Tess? Or you know that answer.
I've gotten plenty of Belgian chocolate, and I think I only have 1 bar left. I've eaten a lot.
I've had none of it, Sharon. Holding out. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable.
Maybe I'll share the last bar.
Yes. Yeah, thousands of years old and a bunch of awards. Oh, Amy said that Ivan really got a lot out of the Anne Frank Museum. See, that's super cool. Yeah. We did a tour, and at the end of our tour, we had a chance to walk into town, Old Town, but we were beat. I mean, we were beat. We were exhausted. It was a little later in the day. We said, you know what, let's just head back to the ship and regroup and get a little rest. And you know, I heard some people said that Amsterdam wasn't what they wanted, like wasn't what it was cracked up to be. It's gotten a little grungier, a little not as tourist friendly maybe over the years. I'm not quite sure. We weren't there, so you know. Yeah. Sharon, did you get the wooden shoes for a photo op with the tulips?
I did not buy the wooden shoes.
You bought some tiny ones for
I bought a lot of little tiny wooden shoes, all different colors. Mm-hmm. I did not buy the big pair because that was towards the beginning of the cruise, and I was thinking about how I was going to get all of the souvenirs home, so I kind of put them back.
I don't think you were thinking at all. You just bought stuff and then figured it out.
I was thinking, but then as the week went on, I just kept buying things.
Tess is apologizing for not watching the video. Tess, it's okay. You're forgiven. I will give you a 48-hour buffer. Just please, just make sure we need every view that we can get. Loved all the videos and pictures from the trip. Thank you, Cindy. We appreciate that. Kevin, no, we will not trade you jam for Malort. That's out of the question. No way, no way, no how. All right, hold on. I got a few more pictures. Let me see if I can get back to the pictures here. Let's go to... All right, where were we? Did we leave off? Okay, we did that one already. I showed that already. A couple more. All right, here was a nice shot from... this was in Norway, too, wasn't it? This was Alesund, I think.
That was probably my favorite. Well...
That was a great day.
That was my favorite.
Little waterfall area that we stopped at for treats and stuff.
In Norway, that was my favorite.
One thing that was super cool, we stopped at places for like potty breaks and little snack breaks. But every place that we went to for a snack break was serving amazing. I mean, like cinnamon rolls. Just great looking food. They were like sandwiches. Oh yeah, fresh out of the oven. Yeah, it wasn't just like cheesy stuff.
You walked in and you could just smell them.
Yes, even the first day in. It might have been Iceland when we left, and we stopped at a place which reminded me of like a Buc-ee's. It had shopping. It had amazing food. It was just. It didn't have any fishing rods or anything, but it was really cool.
A couple stops that we stopped at had those yummy cinnamon rolls.
It was gorgeous.
So we got cinnamon
rolls. So this
rolls.
place is cool, and we remembered to all put our glasses on for the picture so we could look a little cooler. So that was nice. This was amazing. This is our Trollstigen tour. This is the Troll Road, where usually you would go up and down this road. Is there an ad coming in, Sharon? Ads coming in hot. Not on mine, but on yours. Okay. I know if you see an ad, just suck it up. We'll give it a second, hit skip or whatever. You'll be fine. This road is usually the bus would go down, but at some point there was a blockage from like an avalanche or something, so we couldn't take it. But this road would have gone way, way down the mountain and into the valley that you can see up ahead in this picture. So our tour had to stop a little bit. We only went to the plateau for amazing views, but the views were simply
they
gorgeous.
They were.
This was there as well. It was just
so much
beautiful.
Just water everywhere, waterfalls, just little creeks of water.
Like if I was thirsty, I could have just kneeled down and
beautiful.
put my face in this thing and drank it. It would have been the freshest water I've ever had in my life, I think. Unbelievable. Oh, here we are. Oh, that was a highlight. We did take our picture outside of the rumor show. We'll talk about that in a moment.
That was the only show we saw on the Prima.
Literally no other shows. We didn't see anything else.
The other show they were showing was the Donna Summer show, but we've seen that a couple times before on past Prima cruises, so we didn't. We chose not to go.
There was like a magician or something, and we were like, we're okay.
But this was the only show that we really, really wanted to see, so we did go to that.
There we are with our guy Kent. We took that picture later in the trip. It's just really neat to, and if you haven't done it, I mean, meeting someone and meeting a crew member and talking to them and learning more about them and seeing them a second time. And when I went up to the bar, I hadn't seen Kent in 2 years, a year and a half, probably. It was that long. And when I went up to the bar, I just sat there and he looked up to me to see what I wanted to drink. And I just looked at him and I said, "Hey, Kent." And he goes, "Hey." Also, he remembered, and it took him a minute, and then he remembered my name. And then he asked if Sharon was with me. And I was like, holy shit. Holy crap. It was just amazing the memories these guys have. So that was super awesome. Oh, here we go. Back to, this is more of Alice. Is this Alessund again? Or was this Reykjavik? Or something like that. I'm not sure what this was. This was a mass. I think this was this was in Iceland. And this was just a massive waterfall that we went to. So I think this was the Gullfoss. The Gullfoss versus the Godafoss. There are places with very similar names that we got confused. Like, wait, we're going where? Weren't we there the other day? It's crazy. Oh, there's a little picture. Sharon, of course, had to have her creme brulee on the cruise. What would you rank the creme brulee on Norwegian 1 to 10?
Well, if it was a little warm, probably a little more, but I'm going to give it a 5.
Wow, that is not good. That is not good at all. Oh, and Sharon, where's this picture from? Do you have a little story that you look at the evil grin on your face? Looks like you're holding a little champagne there. What's the story with that little picture at the end there, Sharon?
I was super excited because I've never received a free upgrade on a flight in my life.
No, never.
And we were standing in line, getting ready to board, and we were pulling up our boarding pass, and all of a sudden we noticed it said that our seats had been changed, and then we got text messages saying that all three of us that our seats had been changed, and we're like, at first we're like, what's going on, and then after that incident with American Airlines, we're like, oh my gosh, and then we realized that we got an upgrade, so they upgraded us to like first. It was like their first class. I guess it's a business class, but it's Iceland's first class. So on
Iceland Air,
yeah. So we were super excited. I mean, we had our seats. They were roomy. We weren't all squished for our flight home, so it was awesome.
We were excited, and we felt a little bad because we were literally on the same flight with a bunch of people that we cruise with, and we're all together waiting for the flight to board. And we had talked about, where are you sitting? Oh, I'm here. I'm in this row. I'm in this row. We're in economy, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Matthew says something to me, and I look at my phone, and then Sharon checks hers, and we just randomly, for whatever reason, I have no idea. Maybe it has to do with how early we checked in for the flight, whatever the case is.
We did Google, about the kind of to see if there's some way how they decide on upgrades or whatever, and it did say something about a lot of times it's based on your time of check-in. So not when you check in the 24 hours before, but when you check in when you get to the airport. And I think we were one of the first ones to check in at the airport, because when we arrived, we thought you had to wait 4 hours before you could check your luggage. And a lot of people thought that as well. Everywhere before security, that small airport was just swarming with people sitting on the ground with their luggage, everything, waiting to check in. Well, we went up to one of the kiosks and let's just try. Well, actually, Matthew was one. He's like, let's just try it. Let's just try it in with. I'm like, Matthew, I think we have to wait 4 hours.
We're like, fine, Matthew, whatever.
So he starts doing it, and sure enough, it actually let us check in. And so we got our boarding passes, our luggage tags, and we dropped our luggage off, and we went through security. No one else had checked in yet, like pretty much anyone in that airport, because when we went to security, There was no line at security. We just breezed right through, got to the other side.
Sharon, when you say no line, you're not just saying no. There was 0 people. We walked up, and there was one guy that was there who was going to be the one to check our passports to let us through, and there was nobody there. And I looked at him. I said, "What's going on? Is this?" And he goes, "Yeah, there's no one here."
But then about 4 hours time frame, when it would have been about
later.
when it would have been about 4 hours, all of a sudden I think the line through security
All hell
was
broke
long. Everyone started,
And and here's a great
we just
tip.
got really lucky. I
This
guess.
happened to a couple of our friends on the trip, and I think this happened to a lot of people from what we heard, and this also caused a little delay in people getting to check in. But make sure, guys, when you are booking flights overseas, where you're traveling international, and you're using your passport, you have to make sure
have to match
your name on your reservation has to match your passport. And a number of people complain that even on the airline website, when you're checking in, it says middle names not needed. You're like, okay, so let's say I just put James Asmus on there, but then I show them my passport, and my reservation doesn't match my passport exactly, and that causes a problem. So a few of the people we traveled with had to get in a line that opened later.
So if
and
you
had to
have,
wait,
if
and
you're
it was
on
a pain in the
a
butt.
domestic flight, that's not an issue. But if you're flying international, it
So
has
no matter
to
what
match.
it says, always make sure your reservation name matches your passport exactly. Full name, not initial, first, middle, last,
If
every
they're
time.
a junior, a senior,
that's what your
whatever the
passport
case
says.
is, yeah.
All right, so we're done here with the pictures, but one last thing I did have, Sharon, was this little treat, because we like to check out how the band sounds at Sid Norman's. So these guys were pretty awesome. So they sounded great. This is our seat. We were so close we could actually see the sweat on the brow.
And we did have to wait in line, about 90 minutes to get those seats.
Let the music play for a moment. Let the music play a little bit. Yeah, so they were great. The Sid Norman band was great there as well, and we were a little unsure how good they were going to be. We've seen that same rumor show a bunch of times, but it did not disappoint. And go ahead, you were saying about how early we got there.
Yeah, we stood in line. I think it was about 90 minutes early. We got in line.
Yeah,
There were
quite that, but
well, maybe
but we were
not.
definitely early.
There was probably about 6 people in front of us at that time when we stood in line.
There you go. A great question. Big Gene Snuggle said, Sharon Shaza, did you allow Jimmy in business with you and the Pizza King? I thought his seat was in the back next to the loo, Jimmy style. No, but I was forced to sit in a Matthew and Sharon sat on one side, and then I had to sit by myself on the other side.
But you actually were by yourself.
But I was by myself.
The other person never showed up.
Yeah, someone came and said and looked at the seat and then mentioned a name to me. I'm like, yeah, I don't know who that is. They're like, okay, so whoever was supposed to sit next to me didn't. But here's something funny. Now, I am not a little guy, okay? And when you sit in economy, you know, if you're sitting next to your wife or your friend, you can lift up the arm and you have a little more butt room on there, right? A little more cheek room to spread out.
Well, you do, and then I
do. My cheek goes into Sharon's seat a little bit, and that happens. But in the business class or the first class, whatever they're calling it, the seats are solid. The arms are solid going all the way down because that's where like the food tray comes out of and stuff. So it was weird, but technically, I loved sitting and having all the room. But my butt cheeks did not have as much room as they usually would have.
Well,
everything else did.
Those seats were way bigger than the economy seats. So
yes.
I think you had more room. But,
there you go. So that's the deal.
Crispy Cruz had question, Sharon. Besides the carrot cake, how was the creme brulee? Oh, we answered that a minute ago. The creme brulee, I ordered it once, and it was good, but it just wasn't warm. It was like cold because it had been in the fridge. And I like my creme brulee kind of a little bit warm when it comes out. So that was why I said it was only a 5, but the taste was good.
There you go.
But the carrot cake and the local, that is my favorite dessert on any Norwegian ship.
Amy Landon mentioned, so at two of the stops in one day where we were in Iceland, I guess because of the fact that there's water there and the area and whatever, there is a heavy fly issue. They're not mosquitoes. but they are little flies or little
like
gnats,
little gnats, kind of like
and they
gnats.
hang out, and they're great for the environment because that's what the fish and the birds feed off them, and it really keeps the environment flourishing there. But at these areas where we went, where they were like craters that had filled in with water and
There
stuff
was a
like
couple
that,
areas
there
where
were
they
so
were
many
just
flies. It was
everywhere.
insane.
You're like walking, like going like this, just trying to keep them from getting in your eye. I ended up getting, I think, one in my mouth.
Oh
at
God!
one point. Yeah,
And it was funny because in our research, we did some pretty good research. We never came across this. But
Well-
when we got there, we saw all these people wearing like nets over their
Yeah,
face and
some of
stuff.
them. Well,
I'm
and
like, well, nobody told me. I
and
missed
but
that.
it's the time of year too. Like it's not all year round. So
So that was crazy. Amy's right. She said that Ivan pulled his coat over his head halfway
Yeah.
through. It was brutal.
Yeah,
You really and you had to have your sunglasses on, and you really had to just kind of breathe like
yeah.
through your mouth, but with your mouth closed a little bit. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think I went back and showered and washed my hair and everything. I just felt like there were like those little bugs were in my hair and flying around.
And Crispy Cruisin', to follow up on that question about the creme brulee, also said that besides the carrot cake, Sharon likes the carrot cake so much that there was once or twice where she left me at the bar and said, okay, just come up in a little bit, and she'd go like this. But when you come up, you need to bring me a carrot cake. So I literally had to go into the local. And I would go into the local, and you couldn't just order it to take. They don't want you ordering food to take out of there, really. They're not fans of that. So I went up to a lady, and I said, I really, really need a carrot cake. And she said, no problem. I understand. I said, I have to take it back to the room or my wife will kill me. And she said, that's fine, but you have to sit. I have to seat you for you to order it. I said, fine. So I got sat. They came over and brought me a water and a thing. And I'm like, okay, can I get a carrot cake? And then I ordered myself a cheesecake, while I was at it. I'm not going to leave myself out. And they brought it over and they sat it down. And so then I just sat there for a minute looking around. And I'm waiting for the right time. And then one of the supervisors walked through. I'm like, okay. And then finally no one was looking. So I just grabbed both plates and I just head to the door. And I ran to the door and boom. And there we go.
You brought me that time was when I think the last night when I was packing.
Yes.
I said, I'm going to start packing. I'm like, bring me back some carrot cake.
Yeah.
I needed it to finish my packing.
That was a riot. But you loved it and you couldn't get enough of it. The carrot cake, the carrot and walnut cake, I think it is, from the local is definitely one of your favorite desserts ever. What do you got? What were you looking at?
I was looking at that one.
What?
Has to match. Oh, exactly. And there is a deal. It has to be. Yeah, your passport has to be valid for 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah, still be valid. Yeah.
Yes. So usually, every once in a while, you can get away with them not looking at that. Maybe in the Caribbean, but if you're going overseas, it's got to have 6 more months of life left on it till it expires. So they know if you come, you're good to go for a while. In case something happens, you can still get home. Let's see. Let me jump ahead a little bit. Saw this comment there. Wow, you were close. I remember that show, right, Nancy? Yeah, we were close. We had the best table in the house, and we were very excited about it. We will do what we have to do what we want to do. That's my new statement. You can write that down if you want.
Okay.
There you go. Great tip about the passport. I rarely use my middle name, but it's on my passport. Yeah, Deborah, you got to use it or you will be screwed. Yes. Rumors, pro tip, go to the early show, much less crowded. You're right about that, Larry. In this case, the early show started about an hour after we set sail.
Right.
So people had just gotten back. They're just getting cleaned up. They're showering. They're changing from their tours, because all the tours are like all-day tours. A lot of people doing the same stuff.
That day, we knew that we wanted to go, so we got back on board. I think we ate something, maybe on the local that night. I can't remember, but we ate something really quick right when we got back on board so that we could just go back, get cleaned up, and head right to the show, so we didn't have to wait. Because if we would have went to dinner, went to the dining room, we would never have it.
Yes, it was extra protein. John and Diamond said that the flies were horrible. I had a tissue on my mouth to breathe to ensure those flies didn't get in my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was brutal. They have those bugs in Greenland, too. The nets are not expensive on Amazon.
Yeah,
we're going to make sure we have it next year. We'll definitely dive deeper into that.
Yeah.
Transferred from the cruise port to New York City, to LaGuardia. Any tips? Bonnie Bench, I'll tell you what. From the cruise port, New York City to LaGuardia.
I would say you can always do a cruise line transfer, but we just usually do Uber or taxi. Usually Uber, actually. That's our main.
Well, yeah, but New York City is different, Bonnie. When you get off the ship, you're going to cross the street. There's going to be a line for taxis, and you can do that. It might take a minute, but you'll get there. Or you can prearrange a ride. And also, I don't know what it is, but the last two times.
Actually, we did taxis, not Uber in New York.
All right, but hold on. But the last two times we got off in New York, when we got out to the street, someone approached us. Said, "You guys need a ride to the airport?" And we're like, well, we were going to do an Uber. He goes, well, yeah, I can do it. So we looked at the Uber price, and we're like, whatever it was, the guy like beats it by $5. And turns out he's just like an off-duty Uber or Lyft guy, or, runs his own show or whatever. But we were just like, you know what? We looked at a long line across the street, and we're like, come on, let's go.
But yeah.
So we went there. We checked out his vehicle. We felt comfortable doing it, and so we did it.
Yeah, but in New York City, the Manhattan Cruise Terminal, if you wait to get off the ship, the line for taxis, because you do walk across the street and down a ways, it can be kind of long, and they kind of line up there and order it and go. So it's, if the weather's not good, it maybe it's not going to be miserable, but that's usually what we end up doing.
Carrots are a vegetable, so it's healthy, right? Said Shana.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Does the carrot cake have coconut in it or not?
No.
I don't recall any coconut whatsoever.
No, there's no coconut.
Nancy likes my new slogan. We will do what we have to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Nancy. I just made that up. I'm copywriting that right now. If anybody uses that, I will sue you.
Is that your
will
next,
contact
your next shirt?
yes, the law offices of Plaque and Francisconi will take care of that for us.
Question: did Matthew make any friends around his age? Were there any kids there? There were a few kids his age, and there were like kind of limited kids altogether on this cruise. But no, I can't say he met any kids that he actually hung out with. But he did have a crazy situation. We were getting on the elevator one time, and he had his GCU hoodie on, and someone was getting on the elevator when it opened, and they said, "Do you go to GCU?" And he's like, "Yeah," and she goes, "Oh my God, I go there too." So he met someone that actually goes to his same school.
Yes, and they're the same grade. They're both going to be sophomores next year. Yeah. But the bummer part was he never saw her again. Yeah. Well, he saw her once or twice, but there's no opportunity to hang out because we're there's only 2 sea days, so there's hardly any sea day time to hang out. And at night, there's not a lot going on for the teens really to do. And we're just so dang busy, we're just so port intensive that there's not a lot of free time running around.
But it's funny, she lived on campus, he said, but she actually lived in Wisconsin.
She was from Wisconsin, and we were like, oh my God, we were just there in Wisconsin.
So so that was just kind of funny. And then another funny thing is when we were at Hasuki having dinner.
Oh my God, yes.
We were sitting there, and we were placed at this table with this other family, and when the chef there, he was asking where people were from and everything, and so one person, a couple people were from another place, and this one couple said they were from Arizona, and we're like, oh my God, we're from Arizona. We're like, where? And we told them where. As it turned out, they were literally maybe 10 minutes tops down the road.
Sharon, they're close. They're 3 streets over from us. In the neighborhood right over here. Not even 10 minutes.
Not our neighborhood, though. That's what I said.
No, but they're right over here in Pebble Creek.
Yeah, just a few. I said
that's not 10 minutes. That's 3 minutes.
Well, anyways, they're very close.
Insanely
very close. So that was really weird, too.
We were blown away, and then the people that they were with was, I think, their 2 daughters and the daughters' boyfriends, maybe, or something.
And they lived in other
And the daughter was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. We're like, oh. So, small town, small world.
Yeah, so
you're very
really
right
weird.
about that,
You're
Tess.
in Europe on a cruise, and you meet people that...
It was wild. And yes, Matt, Bird and Gina were nice enough. They invited Matthew to play a game. So the Birds were there, and they had their daughter and their daughter's boyfriend, future fiance. I'm not sure. You can correct me. Whatever the case is, he better be a fiance, because otherwise they're gonna have to scrap all the pictures they took from this trip. I was gonna remind them to make sure whenever. And remember, this is a hot tip for me. If you travel with your child and your child's boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, make sure that every time you take a photo, you take one with the boyfriend or girlfriend and one without. Because if that relationship doesn't last, you don't have to scrap all the pictures from that particular travel.
That's actually advice.
That's my hot tip of the day.
Advice from, that happened to us, actually.
Years ago. Many years ago.
We have several pictures that are tucked away that can't put out anymore.
That's correct. But anyway, I don't want to give our own experiences. I'm just trying to help you guys. That's what we do here. We're trying to help you. Yeah, so the birds were there, and they had a lot of game night. They had a great time traveling with the kids, and I'm so glad that they were able to do that. And I know they enjoyed the heck out of it. I believe Gina said it was best cruise ever. 2 people said it was the best cruise ever. So I don't know which one to go by.
I think it was.
But Tess Almond said a great tip. That's right. So yeah, unless you're good with Photoshop and you can Photoshop them out, but
John
yeah.
and Diamond said yes, she attempted a game of chess with Matthew too.
Yeah, right. So I don't know how that went. I think it was Diamond's first time
Yeah.
ever, and she did great, by the way. But yeah, so he hung out. He played Doomlings with the birds, and so now we're gonna brush up on that. So the next time we cruise with the birds, we're gonna pretend that we don't know how to play, and then we're gonna come in there and crush them.
Oh well.
And actually, Matthew played.
Now they're not going to bring that game. They're going to
The
bring
first
another
time
game.
the first time Matthew played with them, he said he went in there and won like 2 games in a row or something, and he thought he was the big man. So maybe they let him win. I don't know. Big Gene Shunkle said, "Travel. Give us your top 2 highlights each from the whole travel saga. No fence sitting." I don't know. My highlights I think were our day in Bruges and Ghent, because I loved our tour guide. It was a younger dude who told some wild, crazy stories, and he wasn't afraid to tell the stories that were a little wacky. And I really think I loved our day in London with our tour guide, the tour that we had with Shore Excursions Group. Not to be corny about it, but that guide was amazing, and he had some fabulous information. The tour guide can make all the difference.
Yeah, that was a highlight, and I think it's because we got to see so many things, even though they were touristy things. We just got to see a lot of things. Someone had put a message out there saying, all you did was see all the tourist traps. We didn't really see.
That's what we went for, the tour
London.
traps.
And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but we don't live there. We live here, so yeah, we want to see those things. Now that we've seen a lot of those, when we go back again, we'll probably try to look for things that aren't touristy, things kind of off the beaten path to do with things. But that's just part of traveling. You want to see the touristy things because that's just what you want to do.
There you go. Crazy Cat Traveler, I don't know. I saw a little freeze up too, but I think everything's okay. Maybe a glitch in the Matrix or something like that. Great tip, Deborah. Yeah, in New York City, you can walk down a block or 2 from where you get off. So if you get off of the ship and cross the street, walk down a few blocks to where it's not busy, where you can be identified in front of a building or a business, and then get an Uber there, and that gets you kind of out of the chaos.
I don't know if the Ubers actually stop right there where the taxis stop. I think
Yeah, just get away from the crowd and you'll be okay. And that goes for any cruise port you can get out of as well. So there you go. So Sharon, what else do we have? Oh, the one other thing I want to talk about really quick, but I know it's getting a little bit late. We've been here for 1 hour and 40 minutes almost. Really quick, keep in mind, guys, make sure if you want to come and cruise with us and you want to cruise with a bunch of other friends and cool people and make friends and cruise with your peers and all that, join us on some of our group cruises. We've got a couple coming up here. Our Family and Friends Fun for All Ages cruise, where we've teamed up with our friends Brian and Julie from How We Cruise. Contact Sharon at Gmail or How We Cruise at Gmail. Whoever you know, whatever you want to do, contact one or the other, but come cruise with us on the Carnival Sunrise, July 12 to 17. You can spend a few days in Miami, 5 days with us on the cruise. We're going to have a great time, a lot of beach time, a lot of good time. We're just going to party and have a blast, but bring the kids too, so we can make sure that the whole family has a good time together. Sharon and Nautical Nurse Nancy have got group cruise number 2. Girls just want to have more fun, is what I'm calling it, Sharon.
Yeah, we will.
On the Carnival Freedom, as long as the ship's not on fire, that should be fine. October 16th to
we're
the
going to light that ship on
2025. Ooh, Sharon. Woo. Girl, you're crazy. So make sure you check that out. Contact Sharon to book that. The Carnival Elation. We have a number of people going out of Jacksonville to Nassau Princess Cays and to Sea Days on the cruise ship that was our first cruise ever.
Yeah.
We're going back 20 years to the first cruise ship. This is one of the oldest ships in the fleet. So if you're curious what the oldest ship in a cruise line's fleet is, this is the one to go on. And I promise you, we're going to have a great time.
I'm really looking forward to this, going on an older ship, just because we've been on a lot of newer ships lately. And I'm kind of looking forward to going back to just how cruising was when we started.
That's right.
And not all the new things that are on the ships, all the, just the ship and looking out at the ocean.
Yes, it's going to be off the chisel, if I might say that. And of course, this New Year's out of the West Coast on Norwegian Joy, We're doing a 7-day cruise to celebrate the new year. It's going to be fabulous, December 29th to January 5th. And then next New Year's, December 28th, 2025, 7 days out of Miami on Norwegian's Aqua, which will be a new version of the Prima and the Viva with some new bells and whistles and a few changes that they've made. And all these, you can see you're going to get onboard credit. Well, just for any information you want, just contact Sharon. Hit her up with an email, sharonatsea@gmail.com. Here you go, right here, boom. And she can help you out with that or any other travel. And I mentioned the Shore Excursions group, which is what I wanted to go over real quick as well. And if you go to this website, Shore Excursions Group, you can put in your cruise line name. You find your cruise line name, you find your ship name. If you haven't done this before with a third-party company to book an excursion, you find your sail date, and you click on that, and you do a search, and it will know what all of your stops are. It'll know your itinerary, and you can find a stop. Like, let's say you want to check out the Dominican Republic for your cruise. It'll show you a bunch of cruise options. Many will be similar to cruise lines. Some might be a little bit different. But you go through, you can read about what it entails, what it includes, all that kind of stuff. It shows you the pricing on them. You click on it, you can see like what the activity level is. So if you're limited with activity and you say, hey, I need something where there's not a lot of walking, or you want something where you're walking and running and biking, whatever you want, you can check that kind of stuff out too. Is food and beverage provided? What's the recommended clothes to wear? You put in how many people you want to go with, add it to your cart, and boom, you are booked. And you pay for it right then and there. All right, although they do have refund policies and stuff like that, and all that information is available on the website. And they have a satisfaction guarantee. Usually it's a higher quality experience than you might get with tons of people.
Yeah, it's
back to the ship, back to the ship guarantee that they have. They have 24/7 support, so if you run into a jam, there's a phone number to call. And the company just has amazing reviews that you can do. So that's just a very cool thing you can do with Shore Excursions Group. And again, if you go to the description, right, video description at the bottom of the video on YouTube, and there's a link in there. And if you need the link for anything else, contact Sharon if you have any questions about that. So that's something we've teamed up with them. It's an affiliate link. Okay, so full disclosure, it benefits us, it benefits the channel. And we've used this company a few times, including recently here in London. And it was a fabulous, fabulous experience. And we never had a concern with getting back or anything.
And
it was just awesome.
It's a great option for people that maybe you usually book through the cruise line because you're worried about not getting back to the ship. This is a great way to kind of venture out from booking with the cruise line. You know, you book through them. They do work then with third-party people, but they are the ones that give you that guarantee that you'll get back to the ship. So you don't have to worry about that. So it's just, I don't know. It's just, we've had a great experience, and I highly recommend booking.
There you go.
Yeah, you're going to get a much better tour than with the cruise line. The cruise line, the tours, I mean, anyone who's been on them, you know, they're crowded. There's, you know, you're always at the mercy of what they're doing. You know, maybe you want to stop to get a souvenir, or you want to stop to grab a drink, or you have to go to the bathroom. You know, you have to wait for, you know, for all that big, huge group to stop. And if these are smaller groups, so that you're less likely to run into those kind of situations. Yeah,
you can communicate with your tour guide, ask questions more. You know, they can help you. Even if it's a smaller group, you might be able to change up the tour a little bit, go in a different direction. Say, can we do this first and do this later, whatever. Yeah. So you have a lot more control over it, and that's kind of nice. Tess, I don't know if 2026 group cruise is going to begin in the UK or maybe somewhere else. Sharon's looking at maybe Greece or Italy or something. I think
I can almost guarantee, I'm going to say 95% guarantee it's going to be I'm looking at Italy, Greece, and Turkey as the three main
Turkey, like gobble gobble
countries to visit. So where it will leave from, there's a good chance it might be Rome, but I don't know for sure. But
we'll see.
But most likely not the UK. But
it will not be leaving from Miami or Los Angeles, that's for sure. My Serena said girls are going to have fun for sure. Wendy Johnson's going on the Elation 2. Tess says, I'm so over the XL and the newer ships. The newer ships are great, and they're fun. And we loved the Icon, and we've loved the Mardi Gras and Celebration on Carnival. And we love the Prima, which is NCL's newest ship. But sometimes it's nice to go back to the old ships and get and that's really a true cruising kind of a vibe and a feel, and it's a whole different deal. So
well, that's kind of what we fell in love with cruising. And like I said, I love the new ships, but trying to put a new ship and then do like a port intensive itinerary, you just can't do that. And I see why they put the older ships usually doing like the bigger cruises where they're more port intensive, and the newer ships just kind of doing a couple ports in the Caribbean now, because it's like the ship is like the destination. No, I mean, the fact that we had the Prima and Europe, that was a loss. We didn't even well, I'm glad we were on the Prima before, and we already experienced a lot of what the Prima offered.
Yes,
because we really didn't experience much of the Prima this time, as far as
we've been on it twice, so there's you're not, unfortunately, you're not going to see many hardly any Prima videos coming out from us, because we've already done all kinds of Prima ship tours and cabin tours and walking through the ship and seeing the whole ship before. So this time is all of the videos, and we have a bunch of them coming your way. So keep an eye out for those.
We did do 4 nights of specialty dining.
We got that going on.
So we do have a video on the specialty dining coming out. But besides the specialty dining, a lot of the time we were so tired we got back on the ship. We ate at the local several times. We did
eat in Dulles Food Hall once.
Yeah, we ate at the main dining room a couple of times there. I think one night we even just ate at the buffet. We ordered room service half of the time in the morning, because it was so convenient. We needed to eat quick before we got off the ship, and we didn't have time to really go
look for a table and get our food and sit down and eat.
We just ordered room
service,
worked out
great.
And
it was $6 a pop, I think, $5.95 or whatever. But it served,
$4.95 plus cat gratuity. And one time we ordered, one time we ordered, like late in the day, we ordered room service, and that was $9.95 plus gratuity. But
I think you and Matthew did that.
Yeah,
that time. Where was
I think you hadn't come back yet. We were doing something. And then we ordered.
Was I at the bar, the casino?
It said there were individual pizzas, so we each ordered one, thinking that they were like small individual pizzas. And they came, and they were in like a box, and it was like a.
But I made fun of you guys, because we did that on the Viva, and we got huge.
I know, but I forgot, and so it was like these medium-sized pizzas, and we're like, oh my god, we should have just got one and shared it. So we ordered like way too much food, but
oh my god.
But anyways, it was.
Oh, the ship show is going to bed. Good night, John. If you're out there, have a great night. Great to see you. Shana Reese says, great chatting with everyone. Have a great week. Good night. A few people are hitting the sack. I get it. It is getting a little bit late.
Yeah.
Penny Quick said, hi, Sharon and Jamie. Our Alaska cruise was amazing. Thank you so much for helping the family book such a great cruise. My in-laws had a great time. Well, that's good. When the in-laws have a good time, then you know everyone had a good time.
Good.
I'm glad to hear that. Tess says, I love the newer ships, but I'm ready for some older ships like the Liberty. How many days are you thinking for the next Bucket List 2026 at John and Diamond?
It's going to be at least 10. A lot of them I've been, and some of the Princess ones I looked at were 14. They'll be anywhere from 10 to 14.
Yes.
I think ours was a good amount. 11 to 12.
11's great,
12
and it gives you a little. That way, you take 2 weeks off for the trip. You get out there 2 days before. You can see a little bit of the city that you're leaving from, because quite often the destination you sail from is a destination in itself. Like if we were to sail from Civitavecchia, Rome or something, I'd want to get into town 2 days early and see as much as we could. Yeah. And that's what we did here with London. It worked out great.
Some of the cruises I've been looking at too, some of them start in one port and they actually end in another, and that has its advantages and disadvantages. I mean, the advantages are you can stay a couple days before and after and see those cities and ports as well. The disadvantage is the flights. Sometimes doing 2 one-way flights can be a little pricier than doing a round trip when you're going overseas.
Yeah.
But we actually had really good luck with our flights on this last cruise.
Really good luck.
Just because Iceland Air.
Sharon, you had the best luck.
Well, Iceland Air had great prices coming back, but if we had to fly Delta or American or something back,
could have been a different
deal. Price wouldn't have been as good.
Wendy Johnson said that happened to us with NCL pizzas, but the bolognese is the best. You're right. I love the bolognese from room service as well. That was good. And that is something really quick. Our cruise ended in Reykjavik. We started in Southampton and ended in Reykjavik. Yeah. But we got to Reykjavik on day 10.
Yeah, we
And day
stayed
10
overnight.
was spent in Reykjavik. And then we stayed overnight. And then the next morning was
Got off.
debarkation. So it was a weird thing how you had to be done gambling. The last day on the ship, many things were just shut down. And people go to Reykjavik and you're off the ship until 6 o'clock or whatever anyway for excursions. But then I remember getting back on and I got back into the cabin and I was like, hold on, I'm going to set up the GoPro. We're back in time. I can get a great shot of the sail away.
And they were like, wait.
And Sharon's like, you idiot. We're not sailing away. We're getting off the ship in the morning. We're staying here overnight. So I was like, oops, my bad.
Yeah, but that was kind of weird. So then, yeah.
Because you can't gamble the last night or anything. You got to get all your pictures. So it was very odd. And it was weird because I remember coming back to the cabin at maybe 10:30 at night and people were leaving their room with their luggage and getting off. And even the night before, when we were getting back on the ship in Reykjavik, there were some people that were getting off the ship. Yeah. So if you got to get home for work or you're doing something else, you can get off the ship whenever. Yeah. It was really neat. You didn't have to wait till 8, 9 o'clock the next morning. And best tip we have is when that happens and you're getting off the ship in Reykjavik, do not wait until final call to get off the ship because you might have a late flight or something like that at the airport. Because I looked out the balcony at one point and I was like, oh my God, Sharon, there's nobody out here. Yeah. It's like 8:30, 8 o'clock. We're getting ready to go grab breakfast. I'm like, oh, it's dead out there. It'll be so easy to get off the ship. Well, we went, ate breakfast, came back, dragged our feet a little bit, finally got off a little before last call.
Our flight wasn't until 4, so we didn't really want to get to the airport too early.
Yeah. Well, that's what everyone else did. So when we got off the ship, it was like a freaking cattle call getting off. The line for it, we waited 30 minutes in line just to get a taxi out of there, which was easy. Cost about $150. Don't wait till the last call. Is all I'm saying.
Crispy Cruises had a question. Any idea when Carnival Royal will start opening up more dates? If you're talking about into 2026, I'm expecting probably early fall. Late summer, early fall, depending on where. Yep. But yeah.
Amanda says, "What's a good first European cruise to take? Looking to make it out of U.S. and Caribbean. What do you suggest?"
A lot of first European cruises people tend to take is just to the Med. Like they leave out of Barcelona, it hits up like Spain, sometimes like a port or two in Italy, and I think France, and it comes back to Barcelona. It's, and it's like a 7-day. So a lot of that's real common for a first cruise. That's one that we haven't done yet that I kind of wanted to do too.
Yes, and if you're nervous about going overseas and traveling and all that, keep in mind when you go to the UK, it's all the same language. It just has an accent, so that's super easy. And the other thing, even in Norway, even in Iceland, it's just like all the other Europe places we visited last summer. Everyone speaks English. When we went to the House of Waffles in Ghent, it was a very low. It was a tourist area, but it was a very local vibe. It's not like everyone was a tourist. All the locals were there along the canal, eating, hanging out. We heard every language spoken you could ever imagine, and we got right in the mix. And a gal came over that looked like she was probably about 18 years old, and she comes over and she spoke great English. A little accent, but amazing. Because over there, everyone learns English when they're young. Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, they have to.
Yes, they're very good with that. We're horrible here, but they are fantastic over there.
Crazy Cat Travelers are probably going to be on United when I go to Australia. Any United survival tips? Not really. No. Not just, fly as much during the night as you can and try to sleep as much as you can. That's a long flight.
Yes.
But we rarely fly United. Once in a while, if I check United and the price is lower, I might book United, but we just never really fly United, and there's no reason necessarily. It's just we have cards that give us points with other ones like American, Delta, Southwest, and Alaska. So those four are the ones we.
One thing Crazy Cat Traveler to think about is we could have had a flight that got us into London at 9 a.m., but we took a flight that got us into 11 because you can only check into the hotel at a certain time, and even when we got to the hotel at about 2, we were still an hour early. And when we said, "Hi, is there a chance for an early room?" and they're like, "Huh?"
Yeah, and we found
check-ins at 3.
Yeah,
and we're like, "Okay."
And so last year we ran into that a little bit when we went to. Is we ended up checking in a little early last year, but the room still wasn't quite ready when we got there.
So try to time your arrival in a way that once you get there, you can get into your hotel or wherever you're staying pretty quickly, because if you have to sit there in the lobby of a hotel for 4 hours waiting to get in,
After
you're
a
just going
long
to be
flight.
dead, and it's going to be miserable. So make sure you time it that way, and that's your best bet. That way you get in, you drop your stuff, you get a shower, you revitalize, boom, and you hit the ground running, and then stay up until it's time to go to bed, and that'll help you with that jet lag. Was there a Chuck E. Cheese in London? There wasn't a Chuck E. Cheese, Big G, but we did find a Pizza Express. The first meal we ate upon arriving to London was pizza, and I had some calamari and a lovely buffalo mozzarella thing or something like that at the Pizza Express. I think it's more of a chain. There's a couple of them, but it was right next to our hotel, and we didn't want to go to a pub or anything because we had some of our bags with us, and that just worked out great. Daniel Field said Barcelona is a great starting point as the airport's near the port, unlike Rome, Venice.
That's true. Barcelona is great for that, and it's usually less expensive to fly round trip over to Barcelona than like when you're going out of Rome. The flights are usually a little more, and like the airport in Rome is like almost an hour away from the cruise port. The cruise port and the airport are like almost an hour away.
Crazy Cat Tower said, I've done the long haul before. I'm just nervous since John got stranded by United in Seattle for a week. Listen, Crazy Cat, I don't think John's here anymore. Don't tell him I said this, but come on, don't you really think it was probably John's fault?
Oh my God.
Honestly. He probably didn't even have a reservation.
Oh
He probably
my
walked
God.
up and said, yes, Clayco for 3, and they're like, we've never heard of you before. So he probably had to book one for the end of the week, and he told
Hey,
Kelly a big story.
all airlines can
Come on,
have
you know the truth.
issues these days, so I would go with whichever one you can get the best price on. That's what
right.
I always do.
That's right. All right, Sharon, we have done a 2-hour live stream. It almost feels like the old days when we used to do the longest live streams in the land. And you guys were great. Thank you so much. Look, we still have 133 people here.
Wow.
So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It was great catching up, sharing all the stuff. We've got many more videos to come out. We've got some likes and dislikes. We've got some don'ts. Sharon put together some lists of things you don't want to do when you're traveling in some of these places. So that's awesome. We've got, holy cow, we've got Amsterdam. We've got Granger. You've got Bergen. We've got Ålesund. We've got Iceland.
Fjordor,
Fjordur, Reykjavik. And what was the other one that we went to? The first one in Iceland. I can't even remember the name. Akureyri. So it was just great. So we've got some of those videos coming out too. And Matthew and I are going to be making a trip for the first Chargers preseason game ever, August 10th, and we might even blog that. How do you like that?
Yeah, we
How
got
do
a
you like
couple.
that? That'll blow the
Charger-
content out of the roof.
Charger games this fall.
That's right.
And I might be going to Minnesota in September for a week or so.
Yeah, you can blog
as
that
well.
too. You can get some new Maxwell content.
And then we have our next cruise in October. So far, that's our next cruise. And with the other things we have in August and September, we probably won't be booking another cruise until October might be our next.
Never say never.
But you never
knock
know.
on wood right now.
You
Because I
never
want to
know.
go on another cruise very
You never
soon.
know.
You know, you get home from a cruise, especially this was a long, long trip, 26 days of travel.
Yeah.
We got home, we relaxed for 3 or 4 days, and we're like, I'm dead. I never want to leave my bed again. And then a couple days later, you're like, okay, ready to go. What's next on the agenda? What are we going to do next?
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Let's get it going. So it was awesome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And from all of us here at Sharon at Sea Travel, to all of you, from me, Sharon, Matthew, Callie, and you notice, yes, Callie wasn't with us.
Yeah.
She was visiting her grandma in Boston, but she will be there for New Year's, ready to party. So make sure you guys are ready to party with Callie as well. And from Lucy and everybody else here, thank you, Nancy, for joining us tonight.
Yes,
we love
thank you, Nancy.
Congratulations to Leanne out there. Thank you for the super chats for all of you, or from all of you, and we appreciate that. And until next time,
We will see you. We will see you
when will
in
we see them again?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Live stream in 2 weeks?
Yeah, live stream in 2 weeks.
All right,
2
you
Mondays
notice
from
that.
now.
We're doing less live streams. We want to have more to talk about, less time. It's just the way the ball bounces. It's summertime, guys. Go out, be warm, hang out, barbecue, have a good time.
Yep.
We love you. Thanks for the support. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you contact Sharon to book a cruise. Make sure you go to Shore Excursions group, and make sure you come with us on some of these group cruises, because they are going to be, what are they going to be, Sharon? Say it.
Off the chisel.
Damn right. They're going to be off the chisel. All right, guys. So peace out, and we'll see you in the next video.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.